Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. You know, we love to go deep on all things Apple here, and today we're looking ahead to what might be in store for the Vision Pro in its second year on the market.
It's 2025 now.
It is.
And the Vision Pro launch, it was a huge success. I mean, it even earned Product of the Year in 24.
It did. But Apple, they're not going to just rest on their laurels, are they?
Never.
Thankfully, we have Ryan Christoffel over at 9 to 5 Mac to give us a little peek into the crystal ball.
Always a good source.
Always. So he's outlined 3 major upgrades that Apple's likely focusing on, and we're going to unpack those today.
Awesome. Sounds fun.
Yeah. So the first upgrade, and this is a big one, enhanced Apple Intelligence. You might remember that Apple initially held back a little bit on full AI integration with the Vision Pro when it launched,
Yeah.
but it seems like now they're going all in.
It's a pretty significant shift. I think it shows that Apple's really recognizing the potential of spatial computing. I think we're about to see the Vision Pro become much more voice first. Thanks to, what are they going to do? They're going to upgrade Siri, of course.
Yeah, like dramatically upgraded.
Dramatically. Think like ChatGPT integration and all of the learnings from iOS 18.4.
All baked right into the headset.
Yeah.
So imagine, you're working on a project, but instead of being chained to your laptop, you're virtually immersed in this, serene forest scene. You're dictating emails, you're launching apps, you're navigating between these virtual screens, all with natural voice commands, having this super-powered, personal assistant right there with you.
I mean, it's a really compelling image, but will it actually make us more productive? Is this just about aesthetics?
Well, I mean, think about it. This level of voice control, it's a massive leap from what we have now. It's not just about barking commands at a device. It's about interacting with your digital environment in this truly intuitive way. So imagine being able to effortlessly manipulate 3D models with your voice, or pull up these complex data sets without ever having to lift a finger. That's the kind of power we're talking about.
Yeah, and the accessibility benefits are huge too. For people with mobility impairments, this kind of voice-first interface, that could be a game changer. It's a level of control and independence that we just haven't seen before.
Yeah, totally. So this type of technology really does have the potential to level the playing field. Okay, so moving on to the second upgrade that Ryan highlighted is robust gaming support. This is an area where the Vision Pro hasn't really made a splash yet.
Not yet, no.
But that's all about to change.
Right.
So his article mentions support for PlayStation VR 2 controllers coming soon,
Ooh.
which is huge.
That opens the door for so many amazing games.
Right. Imagine having access to all those incredible games that are specifically designed for immersive VR experiences finally available on the Vision Pro.
And it's not just speculation. Ryan mentioned that game developer survey, and it really showed a strong interest from developers.
They want to make games for this thing.
They want to get in on it. I think this means that the gaming world is really taking notice, and it could signal a pretty major shift in the, VR gaming landscape.
Yeah, this has game changers written all over it. Imagine the possibilities if Apple can tap into that passionate gamer market. It could bring this massive influx of new users to the Vision Pro platform.
But why do you think developers are so interested in the Vision Pro?
Well, for one, the Vision Pro, it already has amazing hardware.
Yes.
Especially the display quality, the processing power. But bringing in support for those PlayStation VR 2 controllers, that opens up this whole library of existing games and development tools that people can work with.
Oh, so they don't have to start from scratch. Exactly. The developers can really leverage what they already know. They can create experiences that are tailored to the Vision Pro's strengths. And for users, I mean, having that familiar control scheme, I think it'll make the transition to this new platform much smoother.
Totally, yeah. Okay, so we've got the power of AI at your fingertips. We've got a world of games opening up. But what about the content you actually see? That's where Apple's push for immersive video comes in.
Right.
So think about it this way. You're watching a movie, but instead of just seeing it on a flat screen, you feel like you're right there, in the action. You're surrounded by the characters, the scenery. That's the promise of immersive video, and Apple is doubling down.
They are.
But I'm curious, how does it even work? What makes immersive video on the Vision Pro different from just, watching a 3D movie?
Well, it goes way beyond just stereoscopic 3D. The Vision Pro, it uses a combination of high-resolution displays, advanced optics, and spatial audio to create this truly convincing sense of depth and presence. Think about how your eyes naturally perceive the world, right? They're constantly adjusting focus, they're tracking movement, and they're taking in all these visual cues to create this seamless sense of space. The Vision Pro's display technology and the software, they're designed to mimic those natural processes, so it kind of tricks your brain into believing that you're actually present in that virtual environment.
So it's not just like slapping on a pair of 3D glasses. It's about creating an experience that feels real.
Yeah.
But, we've seen other immersive tech kind of fizzle out.
Yeah.
What makes you confident that Apple can really make this work?
Well, a couple things. First, Apple has a proven track record
You do.
of taking these complex technologies and making them accessible.
Yeah. They're masters of design.
The masters of design
User experience.
and user experience. Second, they're not just focusing on the hardware.
Yeah.
They're investing in the content creation. They're making partnerships. Remember, Ryan's article mentioned that Apple's working to increase the volume and the diversity of immersive video releases. They're partnering with studios, filmmakers, and content creators to build this really robust library of experiences.
Yeah, designed specifically for the Vision Pro.
Right.
So it sounds like they're going for a more comprehensive approach. It's not just throwing a cool gadget out there and hoping it sticks. They're building this entire ecosystem around it. But even with all of that, there's still the challenge of getting people to use this technology, right? Like, it's one thing to watch an immersive movie in your living room, but will people want to wear a headset for, like, hours?
Yeah.
Will it be comfortable?
Well, I think it comes down to a few factors. First, comfort and design. I mean, Apple has been working to make the Vision Pro as lightweight and as comfortable as possible. But, there's always room for improvement. Second, content is king. If there's really compelling content, things that people want to see, want to interact with, they'll overcome any of that initial resistance. And finally, price.
Yes, very important.
Right now, the Vision Pro, it's a premium device. But as technology advances, we could expect more affordable options.
Right.
I think that'll change things.
Okay, so it sounds like they're playing the long game. They're building for the future. But let's shift gears for a second. Let's talk about the potential impact. Ryan's article really focused on entertainment, but it seems like immersive video has implications beyond just watching movies.
I think so.
Right.
For sure. Think about education, professional training, even healthcare. Like, imagine attending a virtual lecture where you feel like you're actually in the classroom, or undergoing physical therapy in an environment that's totally tailored to your needs. I mean, the possibilities are huge.
It's almost overwhelming to think about. Okay, so we've covered the 3 major potential upgrades for the Vision Pro: enhanced AI, robust gaming support.
An expanded immersive video.
Yeah.
That's a lot to digest.
It is. It really suggests that Apple's vision for the Vision Pro goes way beyond just being a cool gadget.
Yeah.
I think they're aiming to create a device that integrates into our lives, that changes the way we work, the way we learn, the way we play.
Okay, so before we move on, let's just do a quick recap of what we've learned so far. You've got a Vision Pro that's more intelligent, more intuitive, thanks to that voice-first interface.
Yeah.
You've got a world of immersive gaming experiences opening up. And then you've got Apple pushing hard on this immersive video, not just for entertainment, but for a whole range of potential applications. So where do we go from here?
Well, I think in part 2, we can delve deeper into those potential applications. We can explore how the Vision Pro might transform industries, things like education, healthcare, even social interaction. We'll also talk about some of the broader societal implications, the exciting possibilities, but also some of the potential challenges.
Okay, so stay tuned. We'll be right back with part 2 after a quick break. It's easy to get caught up in the tech itself. But you know what really gets me excited? It's thinking about how this is going to change people's lives.
Okay, so you're saying it's not just about having a cool new way to watch movies or play games.
Right. It's bigger than that.
Yeah.
It is. It's about something bigger.
Okay.
Think about education for a second.
Okay.
Right now, when you think about education, you're picturing a pretty traditional classroom.
Right.
Desks, whiteboard, maybe a projector. But with the Vision Pro, that all changes. That classroom could be anything you can imagine.
Okay, so paint me a picture.
Literally.
Yeah.
Okay, so instead of just reading about ancient Rome in a textbook,
Yeah.
students could find themselves walking through the Colosseum,
Wow.
feeling the energy of the crowd,
Yeah.
interacting with historical figures, examining artifacts up close. It's about making learning immersive in a way that just nothing else can.
That's a pretty incredible image, but wouldn't that require a ton of expensive equipment and software? It sounds like something that only really elite schools could afford.
That's a valid concern,
Yeah.
but you have to remember, technology gets cheaper.
Right.
What's cutting edge and expensive today could be totally commonplace in a few years.
Yeah.
And honestly, think about the potential cost savings here.
Okay.
With virtual field trips, There's no transportation costs,
Yeah.
none of the logistics, the expenses of traditional outings, and even more than cost. Imagine students in rural communities or underserved areas. Suddenly, they have access to the same opportunities as students in big cities.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, so education has this huge potential.
Yeah.
But what about healthcare? We talked about surgical simulations, but there's more.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, one area that I'm really fascinated by is mental health. We know VR is already being used for things like phobias, anxiety disorders, but the Vision Pro, this could take it to a whole new level.
Definitely.
So what could like a Vision Pro therapy session look like?
Well, imagine creating therapeutic environments that are designed to help you confront your fears.
Okay.
So if you have a fear of public speaking, you could practice giving a presentation in a virtual auditorium
Oh, wow.
with a virtual audience.
Oh, that's interesting.
The therapist could control the environment, gradually increase the difficulty.
Hmm.
It's about creating this safe and controlled space for you to practice coping mechanisms
Yeah.
and, get comfortable.
So it's like exposure therapy, but in a virtual world where
Exactly.
you actually feel like you're there.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense. Are there other areas of healthcare where this could be a game changer?
Yeah, I think so,
Okay.
for sure. Think about physical therapy. After an injury, you could do your rehab exercises in a virtual environment that tracks your movements and gives you feedback. Or a virtual support group for people with chronic illnesses.
Mm.
They can connect with others who understand what they're going through, no matter where they are.
That's so important,
It is.
especially for people in rural areas or those with mobility limitations
Yeah, absolutely.
who might not have access to all that.
Makes a big difference.
Okay, so we've talked about education and healthcare, but what about just everyday life?
Yeah.
How could the Vision Pro change the way we interact with the world around us?
I mean, think about everything you do on your phone, your computer,
Yeah.
checking email, browsing the web, shopping, connecting with people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, imagine doing all of that in this much more immersive and interactive way with 3D interfaces, spatial audio, the power of AI.
So I'm like scrolling through my social media feed.
Yes.
But instead of seeing flat images, I'm experiencing it in 3D. Like I'm actually there.
Exactly.
Or like instead of video chatting with my family, I could feel like we're all sitting in the same room.
It really could blur the lines between the physical and digital.
I've actually tried VR museum tours before.
Yeah.
They're cool, but they're kind of clunky and limited.
They can be.
How would it be different with the Vision Pro?
Well, the Vision Pro has those advanced displays, that spatial audio. You get a much more realistic experience. Imagine being able to examine artifacts up close, or even hear the ambient sounds of the museum.
Wow.
Be amazing.
Well, what about the social aspect? I don't want to just be walking around with a headset on, isolated in my own little world.
I think that's something we need to be mindful of, for sure.
Yeah.
But technology can be used in many ways. The Vision Pro could be used to enhance social connections,
Oh, interesting.
just as easily as it could isolate us.
So it's not about replacing real-world interactions.
Right.
It's about creating new ways to connect.
Exactly. Think about virtual co-working spaces.
Yeah.
Collaborating with colleagues all over the world,
Mm.
or virtual meetups with friends where you can play games, watch movies, just hang out.
That's cool. It sounds like the possibilities are really endless. But I also wonder about the potential downsides. I mean, any new technology has risks, right?
Of course.
What are some of the things that we should be thinking about as this becomes more common?
Well, privacy is a big one. With a device that's tracking your eye movements and gathering data about your behavior, we need to be careful about how that information is used. And then there's also the broader societal questions
Okay.
about access and equity. Will everyone be able to use this technology?
Right.
Or will it create a new digital divide?
Those are some pretty serious questions.
They are. And I think it's important to start talking about this now.
Yeah, before it's too late.
Exactly. Before it's too late.
So what can we do, like as individuals, to make sure that this technology is used ethically and responsibly?
Well, we can stay informed. The more we know about how it works, the better decisions we can make about how to use it.
So it's not just about being excited about the new gadgets, it's about being aware of the bigger picture.
Right. Exactly. We also need to be vocal. We need to ask questions, challenge assumptions, and demand transparency from these companies.
So be active participants,
Yes, be active participants in shaping the future.
not just passive consumers.
Right. I think it's important to remember that we're still so early in spatial computing.
Yeah, it's just the beginning.
It is. The Vision Pro, this is just the first step. we can only begin to imagine what the future holds.
Okay, so before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's come back to the present. We've talked about the specific upgrades coming to the Vision Pro, the potential impact. It's been amazing.
It has.
I'm honestly even more excited about the future of spatial computing now.
Me too. It's clear that the Vision Pro has the potential to change everything.
Yeah.
And it's up to all of us to make sure that those changes are for the better.
All right, so welcome back to the deep dive. We've spent the last two parts talking about the potential of Apple's Vision Pro. Those three key upgrades Ryan Christoffel outlined really got us thinking about what the future holds. But now, let's shift gears a bit and take a closer look at the Vision Pro itself. What makes this device tick? What sets it apart from all the other VR and AR headsets out there?
That's a great question, and I think the answer lies in Apple's approach. They're not just focused on specs and features. They're really trying to create a holistic experience, one that seamlessly integrates the hardware, the software, the content.
Okay, I'm hearing a lot of buzzwords here. Break it down for me. What are some of those key features that make the Vision Pro so unique?
Well, one of those striking things is the eye tracking technology.
Oh, yeah.
It's advanced.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, so imagine this. You're looking at a virtual menu, and just by focusing your gaze on an option, you can select it. No controllers, no hand gestures. Your eyes become the primary input method.
Okay, it sounds pretty futuristic, but honestly, I'm a little skeptical. Will it really be that intuitive? I've used eye tracking technology before, and it can be a bit finicky.
I know what you mean. But Apple's implementation, it seems like a big step forward. They've combined these high-precision sensors with really sophisticated algorithms to create a system that's remarkably accurate and responsive. And it goes beyond just, like, menus and selections. Eye tracking allows the Vision Pro to understand your intentions, it can anticipate your needs, and it creates this much more personalized and immersive experience.
Okay, so it's not just about convenience.
No.
It's about making the interaction feel more natural.
Exactly.
More human.
Intuitive, yeah.
Okay, I'm starting to see the potential, but what about the display? What makes the Vision Pro's visuals so special?
Well, for one, it's the resolution. It's got these incredibly high-resolution displays that deliver just stunning visuals. But it's not just about pixel count. It's also about refresh rate and how those displays are calibrated to work with your eye movements. Think about it. In real life, when you move your head, you don't see any lag or blur, right? The Vision Pro wants to replicate that same seamless experience. So that means minimizing motion sickness and creating a truly immersive viewing environment.
Yeah, that's so crucial for comfort, especially, if you're doing long gaming sessions or immersive movie experiences. You don't want to feel sick, but we can't forget about audio, right?
Right.
What's the story with the Vision Pro's sound?
Yeah, the audio is huge. It's all about spatial audio with this.
Okay.
So imagine you're in a virtual forest and you hear birds chirping off to your left. You turn your head and the sound shifts realistically, just like it would in real life. That's what spatial audio does. It creates a three-dimensional soundscape, adds this whole other level of immersion.
That's wild. So it's like surround sound, but for your entire virtual world.
Okay, so we've got eye tracking, high-resolution displays, spatial audio. What about the brains of the operation? What's powering all of this?
So the Vision Pro runs on a brand new operating system. It's called Vision OS.
Oh, wow.
It's not just a modified version of iOS or macOS. This is a completely new platform, and it's designed from the ground up for spatial computing.
So it's purpose-built.
Yeah, exactly. Think about the early days of smartphones.
Yeah.
We had these clunky devices running modified versions of desktop operating systems. It wasn't until we got dedicated mobile operating systems that smartphones really took off.
Interesting.
Vision OS is kind of like that. It's the foundation for this whole new era of computing.
Okay. So it's not just about the hardware, it's about the software that ties it all together.
Yeah.
But with all this advanced technology, how comfortable is it to actually wear?
Yeah.
I've tried VR headsets in the past, and some of them felt like strapping a brick to my face. Not the most comfortable. I get it. Comfort is key for any wearable tech.
Yeah.
And the Vision Pro, it's not feather-light.
Yeah.
But Apple's really tried to make it as comfortable as possible. They've used lightweight materials, they've distributed the weight evenly, and it's designed to fit a wide range of head shapes and sizes.
So it's not going to feel like wearing a baseball cap, but it's not a torture device either.
Right.
Okay. But let's be real. All this amazing tech comes at a price. Is the Vision Pro really worth the cost?
That's a question that every potential buyer has to answer for themselves. But I think it's important to consider the value. This isn't just another gadget. It's a glimpse into the future of computing. And like any early adopter technology, there's a premium you pay to be on the cutting edge.
So you're saying it's an investment, not just a purchase?
Yeah, I think so. But even if you can afford it, there's still the question of practicality.
Yeah.
Like, will people actually want to wear a headset to do their everyday tasks?
Right. Will it feel weird?
Exactly.
Awkward.
Isolating. I think that remains to be seen. But, technology adoption is driven by functionality, convenience, and social acceptance. If the Vision Pro can deliver, make our lives easier and more fun, and people start to see it as a natural part of their digital lives, I think those concerns could fade away.
Yeah, it's like the early days of smartphones. People thought it was weird to talk on those little bricks, but now we can't live without them.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, but there's still one big question looming.
Yeah.
What's next for the Vision Pro? What does the future hold for this technology?
$1 million question. Right?
It is. It really is.
It's like trying to predict the internet back in the 90s.
Yeah.
But if we look at the trends, Apple is going all in on spatial computing.
Yeah, it seems like it.
They're not just releasing a product, they're building an entire ecosystem.
So this is just the beginning.
Exactly. Think about the App Store. It transformed the iPhone from a cool gadget into this indispensable tool. I think we can expect a similar explosion of apps and experiences designed specifically for the Vision Pro. And as developers start really digging into this technology, who knows what they'll come up with? I think they're going to push the boundaries in ways we can't even imagine right now.
That's so cool. So it's not just about Apple's vision, it's about empowering developers and users to shape this future together.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as the technology gets better, I think we can expect things like battery life, processing power, even the design, the form factor to improve. Imagine a future where the Vision Pro is as sleek and comfortable as a pair of sunglasses, seamlessly blending into our everyday lives.
It's exciting, but also a little bit daunting. I mean, this technology really could change everything.
It could. And that's why it's so important to keep having these conversations, explore the possibilities, think about the challenges.
Yeah, and make sure it's used responsibly.
For sure.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into the world of Apple's Vision Pro. It's been an incredible journey. The future of spatial computing is looking pretty bright, don't you think?
I think so. And who knows, maybe in a few years we'll be doing this whole deep dive wearing Vision Pros ourselves.
That would be something. A huge thank you to our expert for joining us today and for sharing your insights. And of course, thank you to all of you for listening. Be sure to check back soon for more deep dives into the world of tech. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.